This is Red Moon role-playing.
We return to the depths of Mort City. No longer are we in the sewers that now run with crystal clear urine and other matter that doesn't bear description. We are instead on the streets, which aren't much cleaner, but at least there's no risk immediately of being drowned, or suffocated, or devoured. Again, it depends on which building you enter and which alley you walk down, but right now, the squad seems to be okay. Seems to be okay because Gaul is missing most of one leg. And Sasana Crop, I would say, is also bearing several injuries. A stab to the back, probably some sore ankles. Opal's doing okay. So, at least Opal has a reason to smile. And then there's Archie, your dutiful camera operator, who is missing half his face. It was a rough going, this blue BPN, but you got out of it. You got that sewer flowing again, by all measures. Once you get back in touch with the Department of Sanitation, you should be paid, and you should receive something of an SCL bump. Your rank is going up, your stock is increasing, you are on the way to stardom. But not quite yet. You're still in District 11. Still gloomy. This is still a level occupied heavily by cults, weirdos, serial killers, and worse. Thankfully, you have a moment. A moment to formulate exactly what you're going to do. There is still an outstanding debt in play. This swap fella, the person who told you where to find the sewer entrance, you don't know whether to be grateful for that now that you've been there and back again, but you did say that you would give him something exclusive, something you wouldn't share with anyone else. So our squad, now that you've been able to catch your breath again, even though at least a couple of you are still bleeding a little, it might be a good opportunity to negotiate with each other what you intend to hand over to the swap trader and what you intend to keep for yourself, and sail to one of the many, many television channels in Mort City.
Yes, I take a moment to take a knee, scratch my beak, start trying to treat myself with my Booper medikit. Luckily, most of the scratches are superficial, I feel, but it was close. Far too close. Still, as we're silent for a moment, I will look to the others and say, well, that was something. I suppose now we have to think about the swap dealer. What are we going to give them? We don't want to give them the juiciest stuff, but we do need to give them something. I am a man of my word, and I don't really know what that being is capable of, but I have to confess, it did seem, screaming his name out in my moment of tactical retreat, did have an effect on the people down there, so they might have quite a reputation.
I agree. That is something that we should reconcile prior to leaving this area. And then my eyes are going to shift down and shift over to my left to look at Gaul. And that gaping whatever situation is on the back of his hip where that missing leg is. Would you like me to address that, or are you just going to rejuvenate that yourself?
Time should heal the wounds, but, well, if you can do something, that might not be bad.
This is coming from a point of compassion, but also marketing. How bad is the pain? Because technically that looks really good on camera if you go topside like that.
Pain is not a problem.
Is there a middle ground where I can do hit point restoration, but not actual bring this fully back, or at least have it continue looking warped? Is there a line somewhere there that I can toggle?
Opal, you can definitely dose Gaul up with painkillers so that the injury doesn't heal, but at least he's not feeling it. To his credit, he doesn't seem to be complaining all that much. Neither's Archie, for that matter, but that's because he's unconscious. But yeah, you can dose Gaul with painkillers, and to be honest, if you're trying to avoid any more conflict on the way up, it might be a good idea to dope the Stormer.
Okay. Alright. Gaul, is that okay? Do I have your permission?
I nod. And, yeah, I'm really focusing very hard on just pushing this pain away.
So then I am going to jump in, pull out my kit and get that injectable going. And then I'm going to look over my shoulder at Sassencrops and say, we have that key from the sergeant, the iron ring of keys to the storm doors below. If we omit that footage, that might be something of value that we can hand to the trader.
Ah, I suppose that could be something. The sergeant has a set of extremely extensive keys that he's willing to give away. With negotiation, the swap dealer could use that, surely? Maybe? Yes.
And then, just to clarify, to make sure I don't have my notes wrong here, Matthew, he gave us that set of keys before we went down there, right?
He did.
So we have them in our possession. We could hand that over. That could be easy, like we lost them in the fumble of whatever happened downstairs. They went down and they just didn't come back with us.
That's true. You could give something tangible to this swap dealer, and from that point, maybe that would be sufficient. You would then have given him access to lots of different parts of the sewers. That's pretty smart. Pretty smart, Opal.
Indeed. That's a great idea, Opal. Well, then let's do that then. As for trying to find them, I have a funny feeling that they're the sort of individual who will find us, so I don't want to stress that too much. Let's just start making our way back, and I'm sure they will make themselves known.
Praise them! Praise them! A very scrawny-looking individual whose eyes are bulging out of his very, very thin skull comes staggering out of an alley. Is clad in... It's a combination of rags and denims studded with stitched-on tags and badges. He has a look about him that says lunatic. His hands are in the air. They are not filled with anything that looks terribly dangerous. There's a scrap of meat in one of them. But, you know, who doesn't walk around with some handy pocket meat? And he is striding over to you. There's a bit of a crowd behind him as well. They're slightly more cautious. Praise them! Ah! You blessed slaps, you cleansed the sewers for us. Yes, you did. Yes, you did. You cleansed the sewers. You have brought about the unclogged. The lot went green. I saw it with my own eyes. The one that still works. And now, my babies that can bathe, that can drink. We can be cleansed again, baptized in the District 11 sewer system. Oh yes, oh yes. Who do I have to thank? Who do I have to kneel to? Who deserves my praise? He falls to his knees and hands this scrap of meat. Between the three of you, he wants one of you to take it. This is some kind of offering, some kind of tribute. It's pretty damn paltry. But still, it's clearly what he considers a friendly offering.
Well, my good man, I do believe it is us you have to thank, but maybe specifically this fine specimen here, and I gesture to Gaul, and I say, "Come, Gaul, this fine citizen wishes to bestow upon you a meaty offering."
I pick up that camera so fast.
I look at it, and I say to myself, I do love meat. And I grab the meat, and I feast on it.
Well, poultry is right. It is indeed chicken. Or at least it tastes like chicken. And he looks at you, his eyes somehow even wider. You can just see the edges of them, and where there's a gap between eyeball and ocular cavity. Very strange. Very strange. Yes, you take it in your mouth, and you chew and you swallow. Yes, can you taste it, my brother? You are one of Mr. Slayer's children, one of the blessed stormers. Yes, you are. I can feel you in my heart. We worship you. What is your name, oh Saviour? What is your name, so that we can paint it on our faces and name our children after you?
There's drool and pieces of meat that are and blood probably also dripping from my my mouth as I answer with my teeth are fully visible, of course, as they always are. Go.
Yes, I knew it. I could feel it. I could feel it in my bones before you said it. Hear that, my people? He returns around to address his congregation, who are now quite riled up at this preacher cultist's vim, shall we call it. And they all start chanting, Gaul, 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 increasing volume. All of a sudden, lights actually start switching on. Before, this district had been incredibly dim. There were some lights all the way up in the roof above you, and a few scant lights, generally television sets, from windows. But now, the streets are lighting up. This does actually feel a bit like a religious moment. Dung, 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 dung. Street lights actually coming to life. Is it possible? And to be honest, Gaul, it's unlikely this registers with you, but Sasana, Krop, and Opal, is it possible these people deliberately keep themselves in the dark? In some kind of primitive state? And now that they are happy, now that they are cleansed, now that they feel that deliverance has arrived, the electricity is back on. Now they can worship, and there is chanting from the windows. Gaul, 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 Gaul. It's really quite deafening. It's also quite threatening, because now some of these individuals are pouring out of the buildings with it, and they don't look normal. If this preacher cultist looks strange, these people look like his deformed cousins. Very unusual body shapes. And quite frankly, their attire, where it is present, is rotting off of them. They all look incredibly hungry. You wouldn't go so far as to say cannibals, necessarily, but mutants, almost definitely. This might be a good opportunity to leave.
Yes, I think chanting along Gaul myself, I will just start waving and sort of just gently leading Gaul away, saying, Well, alas, we must return above to continue our work in the name of the great sewage.
I stand up and I lift both my hands into the air to take in this worship, and I roar into the sky.
Yes! Roar with him! Roar with Gaul! And they all start making their own rather futile attempts at roaring. They can't match your volume, at least not initially, but when there's enough of them doing it, it sounds like a freight train is about to bust through one of the buildings and onto the street. It is that loud. Still, their chorus does serve as a distraction. They're all essentially trying to outdo each other, screaming as loudly as possible. It turns quickly from a roar to a primal scream, something somewhere between anger and terror. Something you're very familiar with, Gaul. But this does give you a little cover to move off. Which one of you is carrying Archie? Is he just strapped to Gaul's back at this point?
Yes, he is. And he is strapped on my back and I'm carrying him.
And so you make your way back the way you came, because after all, you don't want to get lost in this labyrinth. That means you do have to pass by the tower block where the mould is growing. Notably, this tower block does not suddenly have a burst of illumination. There is still one window lit up, but the rest of the building just appears to be dead, consumed by whatever's growing on its outside. And ultimately, you make it into the building you emerge from to get down here, make your way back up those stairs, past some junkies and dealers who give you rather half-assed salutes, because this chanting is following you as far as here. They're not going to come up to another district, but the people inside this building can hear it and associate it with you. Oh, well done, yeah, congratulations, whatever, or whatever, yeah, great, have a good one.
Thank you, citizens.
And you are back to the relative safety of District 10, which is where your cab dropped you off before, driven by Cowboy, where you've been told all you have to do is give him a call, same number as before, and you'll get your ride out of here. But it is, of course, not long after exiting this building, while you're looking for a payphone, that the familiar squeak, 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 squeak approaches.
I will make sure that Sasanacrop has that key in hand.
Are you giving him the just the one key, or the ring with all of the keys on it?
The ring with all the keys on it, I assume. Like I said, we don't need it anymore, and, well, we can always just say it got lost, and that's life sometimes.
I agree.
The familiar swap fella on board his motorised cart hoves into view from the darkness. There's a few more people out on the streets. It's difficult to tell what the time of day is down here. You all have watches, so you can check, but in terms of lighting, it's a permanent twilight. He doesn't climb down from his cart. You're not sure that would be possible. But he comes close enough into view that when he smiles, you can see all of his teeth. Back so soon, eh? Heard there was something of a ruckus down below.
There certainly was, good citizen. But as I said, we're good at what we do, and we have been successful.
Is that right?
Yes.
Well, whoopee shit. What do you have for me?
Well, as always, you drive a hard bargain, but I think we have something that will interest you. Something, as you said, and I wink, that if we give to you now, no one else will know about, or at least they won't know you have it.
He rubs his hands together and leans forward. What is it then? Information? Valuable objects? Maybe a sacrifice of some kind?
A set of keys. These keys were handed to us by one of the shivers to access the many blockages and security doors that lie in that sewer. It opens every door. Very useful it was to us, and I'm sure you will find several more uses for it.
He holds his hand out. Waits for you to put the key ring upon it.
I pause for just a second and just say, "This is satisfactory, yes?" before I hand it over.
I'd like to examine them first, Squire. I wouldn't want to be diddled in a deal.
Oh, that's fair, I suppose. All right, then. I'll hand it over.
Well, let me see what we've got. He rattles them. He jingles them in front of you, a little like you're a cat. Oh, yes, I recognise some of these keys. So some of these keys, they are very familiar with the notches, you see. He looks over them at you, Sasanacrop. Yes, got that one. Got that one. Oh, don't have that one. Okay. Not that one. It feels a little like trading cards or stickers for an album. Oh, that one's a special one. You don't get that one very often. Oh, let's see. Oh, all right. Deal's a deal, Squire. That's a good one. Someone I know is going to pay very well for that key there.
A pleasure, sir. Again, as I said, I am a being of my word, and you did aid us, so we have in turn aided you. For now, our dealing is complete, but you never know. Maybe when we become very famous, we'll meet again.
Oh, well, you know what they say. Sasanacrop, isn't it?
That's right.
Well, I'm glad you do. Because they say a lot of things. And I'm asking you, I'm telling you, in fact, when you find out something that I don't know, when you know what they say, You come to me, you hand it over, I'll give you something special in return. We don't need to wait until your name is in lights. We've got a deal now, a friendship, a partnership if you like. We've exchanged victuals, Sasenacrop. Now, we are brothers. How about that?
Charming. Yes, certainly.
I won't ask you to shake my hand. Deal's done. Safe journeys back to the surface and whatever your fate leads you to.
And good luck with your endeavours, I say. Deep down, I'm a little divided about all this. Again, the individual has done what they said they would, and they could be useful, but I just can't shake the feeling that there's something very off about this being. Best not to think about it for now, I think to myself.
There is definitely something very off about this being.
I slow blink just as we're getting ready to part ways, and it's almost like this unbridled curiosity just cannot tolerate not asking this question. Excuse me. I'm just curious. Did you know what was down there? Did you know when we first met what was causing the blockage?
Opal, isn't it?
Yes, sir, it is.
Well, I know lots of things. People tell me lots of things. They might not all be true. But I don't know, see, because you're being vague. I'm going to be vague. Because if you tell me something I don't already know, well, that's credit, isn't it? That's something you can use against me. But if you say something I do already know, well, that means nothing to me. So, let's just leave it, I guess, ambiguous. Part with a veil of mystery. But I'll tell you one thing, Opal, my dear. If ever you're on the lookout for any of your lost brethren, those, Momics, I hear there's a few of them popping up around Mort City in all kinds of strange and unlikely places. I bet your people would be very unhappy to hear about that. Those strange floating creatures that once kept yours in mental bondage. Anyway, must be off. Business to attend to and the shop won't run itself.
I do everything I can to ground myself in this moment to keep my face as absent expression as possible, but there's absolutely no way that I can contain that just facial wince at my frustration and distaste at that particular comment. But I'll remain silent.
He is most certainly trying to lure you into making some other deal. He knows the curiosity that you possess, any Ebonite would possess about about Momics. They're supposed to be dead, or at least far, far away from Mort. Deep outside the world of progress. They're a conflict race. They do not adhere to the laws and rules of SLA Industries. To hear that there are some in Mort City, that could pose a great danger, but you do hold your tongue, as you say. Your expression may betray your feelings, but your words do not. And his motor, more or less silently, there is still a squeak of the cartwheels, takes him away out of view. You are sure that if you ever need to make an exchange of information again, he won't be that hard to find. Ah! Archie wakes up.
And I immediately go to him. Let's unmelt Archie's face.
No. This is good. It's good for the camera, isn't it?
We have ample footage of how brave you are, Archie. We have ample footage. Unless you're telling me you want to remain that way, that's something I'm happy to accommodate.
Oh, God, no.
I'm going to drop down on my knees and start this process again. The amount of times I've had to heal this baby's face at this point.
Yeah, he's had a rough go, but you do have his footage. You saved not only him but also his camera and the recording slugs within it. So, We will cut forward. You are able to reach a phone booth and summon Cowboy. It takes some hours, but eventually he is back with you. He seems a bit put out that you're coming back so soon. You're probably interrupting his working day, but a deal is a deal. You did a favour for the Department of Transportation. They will do a favour for you, but eventually those favours will run out. And so, he doesn't ask you many questions as you're on the way back up to the surface of downtown. You could stop by any Department of Sanitation building. There are plenty of them. It's probably the most ubiquitous department building. Everyone recognises their symbol all throughout downtown, but it feels somehow better, somehow cleaner to do it closer to the surface. Almost as if you might get paid a little more, or your SCL might go up a little more. That isn't how it works, but somehow dealing with the functionaries this low down feels like a dirty deal, and you've already had enough of them. One thing Cowboy does ask you is, so you're going to be famous now, huh?
Well, maybe not overnight, but we're certainly on the way, my dear boy.
Well, I'll look out for you when you appear on TV, then. I can say I knew them when.
We're gonna get sponsors.
Sponsors, eh? That's what you're looking for, huh?
I nod.
He's in one hand on the wheel mode as he's driving and leans back. I know a guy who knows a gal who knows a guy who could probably set you up with something. Tell you what, let's make a deal. You sell all your footage to me. I could swing it by sponsors rather than TV networks. I could see the armor you're wearing, the weapons you have. You know, I got contacts. Lots of people ride in my cab.
I look to the two others. I want sponsors, I say to them.
We know, Gol, we know, but let's slow down. We've got plenty of offers.
I nod, impatiently.
I will consider Cowboy's offer for a moment in my mind. Could someone like this have a better deal than, well, the actual official channels we're about to go through anyway?
It's hard to say, quite frankly. A lot of people have contacts, and yeah, sure, who knows the people of the city better than a taxi driver? But that doesn't mean you'll have anything official. The question is, do you trust this taxi driver more or less than your agent? Well, to be quite frank, you probably trust both of them very little. You have made a pre-arrangement with Mongo Mingus. So whether you intend to respect that is really up to you.
That is a very good point. I am a bird of my word, so I shall say, I tell you what, Cowboy, we'll think about it for the moment, if that's all right.
No pressure, huh? Okay, back in the elevator, and you take the transportation elevator back up. Cowboy drops you off at the Gauss train station. Well, I guess this is where we're going to be parting ways. I think next time you're going to have to pay for your fare.
Oh, that's fair enough.
Thank you for all of your assistance. As a point of clarity, once this footage is released, can you verify for us how you want us to present or not present your involvement?
Like I said before, let's not put any footage out there of me using service elevators, okay? Nothing like that. You know, I get there by having friends. I can't keep using that kind of stuff if people publicize it. But by all means, say the Department of Transportation hooked us up with a nice, smooth ride all the way down to District 10, and Cowboy, probably the best driver on their books.
Understood. Thank you so much for clarifying that.
Oh, my pleasure. Well, you four, and he looks at Archie rather dimly, screws his face up a little, because he's about to say, take care. Okay. And Cowboy drives off, leaving all of you on the sidewalk, where it is brightly lit, again, not from above, but the many, many businesses around you. The downpour is spattering on your heads and shoulders to make you look like a British Prime Minister. And you are once again at liberty. Now, you have a few things that you can do here, squad. You can, of course, send this footage directly to any of the news channels. There are a lot of them. You can go directly to the Department of Sanitation and essentially cache your BPN. You've completed it now, and you've got footage to prove it. You could, instead, get in touch with Mongo Mingus and have him arrange the footage. He is, after all, the person with the contacts, most likely to get it on someone's desk. And he did say he would be doing this without a cut, unless there's something to be gained in terms of sponsorship. Well, that's not true. You haggled him down to about 15%. So, by all means, the squad can split up if you intend to do different things, or you can stick together because that's worked so well so far. So, Sana Krop, you're the squad leader. Why don't you take charge and tell us what you want the rest of your slops to do?
I think it's best we stick together for now. You never know what could happen, especially after... Well, dare I say, when we split up was probably our weakest moment. So let's stick together. Let's get things done. Let's get this all sorted. Let's find Mr. Mungo Mingus, honor our deal, and then, well, start thinking about how we're going to use that footage. Isn't that right, Archie?
Yeah, I'm sure my uncle will be very proud of me.
He will, and then we can sort out that face later.
Well, his face is looking slightly better. The problem is more what happened to his teeth and gums. The injury went pretty damn deep. And so while his skin has recovered, there's muscle damage, his teeth are going to need to regrow from scratch, and he's going to need some kind of dental work from there. So he is looking a little worse for wear, but at least he's conscious and able to walk around. Likewise, Gaul, at this point, the Stormer regenerative system is really quite remarkable. Your leg, while pink and fleshy right now, is just getting strong enough that you can support your weight again, quite happily.
I look at that, and I feel strong. I look for a vending machine.
Yeah, your leg does look very tasty, so it's probably better to satisfy yourself from a vending machine instead. Archie says, do you want me to call my uncle then? I can...
Yes, that's a good boy. You get him called, he can come down, and he can have a break.
He looks so proud to have been called a good boy so condescendingly by you, Susanna Krop, and so he scurries off to find a telephone, of which there are plenty on this level.
Well, I won't lie, Opal. I had doubts about the boy, but I think he has proven himself a valiant member of the team.
I agree. I'm very impressed with him. I think we should get him some formal training and bring him on officially. I did have an idea I would like to shop by the two of you, so I'm waiting for Gaul to get back from the vending machine.
Gaul, okay, Gaul. What, are you going to another Piggy Wiggy vending machine?
Yes.
Do you want to spend a point of luck?
Yes.
You put your unis in the vending machine, and wouldn't you know it, it spits out not one but 2 tins of Piggy Wiggy. It's as if the gods are putting everything back into alignment. As if you being cheated, or nearly cheated, bearing in mind you did destroy the last vending machine. Everything is returning to an equilibrium. Put money in, get Piggy Wiggy out.
I look up into the sky, the rain falls into my eyes, and I thank whatever power it is that is up there. Perhaps Mr. Slayer, or, well, whoever. And then I look down to my Piggy Wiggies and I begin enjoying them.
As you snarf your Piggy Wiggies on the way back to Opal and Susanna Krop, it seems Opal wants to run something by you both.
I've heard of this marketing method being used before. I don't have the exact predictions or the projections on how successful it is, but it may be worth considering. Versus blasting this footage out to the news channels versus potentially shopping this footage out to sponsors. What if we chop it, bring it down to an appetizing size, send it out, and force them to come to us? We have several significant aspects of this footage, from near-death experiences to cultists to a fump. We have a fump on camera. The god worship, the elevation. If we sampled out a small piece and sent it out, we might be able to shop immediately who comes with a better offer, or pit them against each other.
Well, I like where you're going, Opal, and I find myself agreeing. But I don't want to write out Mr. Mingus completely. Maybe we can somehow come to a conclusion where everyone's happy.
I nod. I look satisfied that I was heard in that moment. What happens from here is almost like, whatever our team leader says is what we're going to go with.
Archie runs back up to you, somehow nearly bumps into Gaul, skirts around him. Luckily, I think Gaul's face is so filled with Piggy Wiggy right now, he probably wouldn't have noticed a small human running into him. I've got... Uncle Mungo is so happy he's coming here right now. If we can wait here or find a bar or cafe or something we can nearby, he's coming over here, and he's already got so many plans. I told him exactly what happened down in the sewers, and the things we encountered and the things we caught on film. And his idea, his brain right now, he said it's like a galaxy exploding into being. It's filled with stars, and I don't know. He started getting very poetic. But anyway, I think this is good. Your credit's in, and he gives you both all thumbs up.
Well, why don't we retire to a cafe and wait for a moment? Maybe we can have a beverage together. Wouldn't that be novel, Archie?
Oh, gee, that would be amazing. A beverage with what? So I can drink with all three of you.
Well, something that you're allowed to drink, of course, but yes. Maybe a good brand we can get in there.
I think I drank something down in that sewer, but I'm sure whatever they're selling at that bar over there will be nice.
I'll slap him on the back and say, "Of course it will, Archie, of course it will."
And so you head to one of the nearby bars, the Bio Bar. And the Bio Bar, it advertises itself as every single drink, every single meal made here is made organically. There is nothing vat-produced here. There's no piggy-wiggy sold in cans here. This is all genuine vegetables, meat, and minerals. At least that's the claim. It costs a little. Archie, of course, is happy to foot the bill. He has an allowance, and while this is about 4 months' allowance, he will put it towards this round of drinks and snacks. And, well, you can't taste the difference, quite frankly. So brought up on mass-produced ready meals are you that, frankly, this all tastes a little rich, a little bougie. But before you can really complain about the food or the drink, a familiar sight comes bustling in through the door. "Oh, there you are!" When Archie got on the phone to me, I said to him, my mind is like a galaxy exploding into being. It's full of stars and planets and supernovas, comets, all kinds of amazing astral things. And then when I saw you, well, I knew when I saw you celebrating your meal through there, I thought, well, no one is going to buy a meal like that unless they have a fantastic story to tell. Now, Archie is known to be something of a tale spinner, but I trust my nephew, and when I see you, I can see your injuries. Wow, those injuries. Did you catch those on camera as well? I'm sure you did. You're professionals. Now, we need to get you on TV. Prano, and I've already got contacts. I've already made one phone call, and there's already bites. But you've got to get yourself to the Department of Sanitation and check in that BPN, otherwise no one's going to be putting your face on the screen, because they don't know that you're telling the truth. The footage is one thing, but the Department of Sanitation need to verify it. Do you understand?
Well, that seems reasonable. We're practically on our way to do that already, Mr. Mingus. But of course, we wanted to see you first, discuss things.
Yes! I'm very excited. As soon as I saw you in Slayer's crib when we first had that meeting, that fateful meeting, I knew that you three, and Archie, of course, but you three mostly, that you would be rocket all the way up to one of the conflict worlds, but hopefully not right yet now, because, I've got another BPN in my pocket. pats his pocket rather hard, like he's participating in a musical, and he says, I got a green BPN waiting for you. That's right, green BPN to take you off-world. That's right, off-world, to one of the war worlds, conflict world where there's all kinds of creepies and gribblies and strange creatures that want to eat your face, but not right now, because right now we need to get you to the Department of Sanitation, need to get you paid up, need your SCL bumped up, and need to get you on TV. So how about it?
Well, it all does sound like a plan, although I confess, Mr. Mingus, while I'm sure your next BPN is a good one, we might want to consider some other BPNs, considering we'll hopefully have quite a bit of selection. Not that we're saying we'd cut you out of that, of course, but just saying we don't want to be tied to just one. I mean, what's so good about your one in particular? Off-world? Sounds a bit...
Pays well, big SCL bump, huge television coverage.
From who?
Gorezone.
Gorezone, eh?
One of the biggest channels out there. They love their off-world footage. Of course, it has to be heavily edited because Slay Industries doesn't like anything that might harm the company being broadcast on TV. But you do the filming, we'll do the editing, or they'll do the editing, and then, woo, your name in lights. Easy as 1, 2, 3.
Well, again, we can consider that for later. But for now, yes, let's go and get this BPN sorted. And which TV network are you thinking of for this story?
Splatter 6. Splatter 6. That's it, Splatter 6. They're my friends. I got friends at Splatter 6. They all love me. I love them. We go back a long way. I've already got you booked on a chat show tonight. That's right, tonight. So wear your best. Keep those wounds. Archie, what's wrong with your face? And do your best. Do your best on TV. Look, this is a TV show with three people sat on the sofa, and that's 1, 2, 3. All of you. Archie, you can stand in the wings, and all you have got to do is do the talking, talk about your mission, talk about it like it's close, near death, and yet somehow you knew you'd emerge triumphant because of the bigness of your weapons and your professionalism and your dedication to the mission and to Mr. Slayer himself, all that good stuff. And the chat show host will trip over themselves to praise you and
yes, that's all very good. That's all very good. But we do need to discuss something else. Gaul has a request, and it's one I think all of us would be interested in, and that's we'd all be quite intrigued by the prospect of future sponsorship.
Oh, I forgot that the big guy speaks.
Yes.
I want a sponsor.
Well, let's review the footage. Let's see what you use. Let's see what you use more than anything else. Something that we can tie to your activities. And then, boom, we get in touch with the sponsor. They say, well, that's the squad for me. And then all of a sudden they start hooking you up with free gear. Eventually, if it keeps working out, they'll pay you, but they won't happen immediately.
I look a little bit disappointed.
I can see you're a bit disappointed, that big guy, but listen, this is the way it works. They're not going to suddenly give you the newest big thing because you might be a one-hit wonder. I'm not saying you are, I'm not saying I think you are, but they might think you are, and they might think, well, we're not going to give you the new prototype because you might take it on a mission and you die straight away, lose all the money that they've put into it. No, what they're likely to do is give you some tasters, some little bits and pieces that you can demo for them, and if they work out well, then that's when the credits roll in and they start giving you good stuff.
How does this ecosystem of marketing with sponsorships work if we have footage of a company's product failing miserably?
Well, you can always go to their rivals. I mean, that's a pretty dangerous game to play, but if you want to do that, you can go to the rivals and you can say, look at how bad this calf steel death pistol is, for instance, and they could say, haha, we're going to put this on Slops do the funniest things, and all of a sudden we see the calf steel death pistol misfiring, a hand getting blown off, and they could say, this is why we recommend you use Fen 603. Fen 603 is the gun that all SLA operatives should be using, not calf steel death. That's rubbish. Shit. That's how they'll terminate the commercial. They'll say, it's shit, and then it goes back to the channel, but that word will stick in their mind, shit. So calf steel death, shit, Fen, good. See what I mean?
So if we go to the rivals, I understand the risk associated with that. What if we go to the company itself? Do they pay to not have that footage produced?
They might pay you a little stipend, but they'll also put you on their list, shall we say. They're not unlikely to want to sponsor you in future if you're essentially high-handing them, blackmailing them. I'm not suggesting that's what you're doing, but, you're basically holding footage over them in thread and saying, hey, look what we've got, and we might show that your material is shit. And the people don't want to see that.
I nod as I'm like absorbing all of this information and running it through a formula. It's like, okay, so how do we make good decisions in the future? So yeah, I'm processing all of this data very quickly.
Archie said, my teeth hurt. Okay, kid, we'll get you to the dentist soon. You're right, you three, get to the Department of Sanitation, then you gotta meet me outside Splatter 6 Studios. We got you on Baby Talk tonight, okay? Splatter 6 Studios, 9 p.m. tonight. It's in Uptown. Don't be late. Don't be late. You'll need to be there. Let's say you get there about, let's say 8:30. So they got enough time to put you through makeup if they feel you need it, but they might not. And then you'll go out, get interviewed by Baby. She'll talk to you about the mission. Anyway, I've already done all that spiel. Let's go, Archie. We need to get your face fixed.
I look to the two others. Better go then.
Yes, what do you think, Opal? It does seem, for the moment, a pretty good deal. Let's get the BPN sorted, go on the show, make ourselves a name. Maybe for now, that's where the footage goes. I'm not entirely sure I want the next BPN to be an off-world slaughterhouse. I'd rather have something cerebral, but, well, let's see.
I agree.
I nod. Yes. Let's go get this settled at the Department of Sanitation first.
You head to the Department of Sanitation in downtown on the surface level. And sure enough, you're able to hand over your BPN slip. You're able to show them some of the footage. They're able to determine, not just from the footage, but the fact that their sensors in their various department pumping stations tell them that, yes, there is now flowing sewage in District 11. That, yep, if it wasn't you, someone did the job, and right now that's all they care about. And so you get your credits. It is credited to the squad to be divided between the three of you. And you get your SCL increase. It is immediately attached to your SCL ID. It is an increase of 0.2. Now, here's how the SCL ranking system works. When you get all the way to 10.9, well, the only way is up, because then you become 10A. And then you go 10A.1 all the way through to 9. Guess what? When you get to 10A.9, get another SCL bump, you'll be 9. But wait, because then it's 9 all the way through to 9A, and then it's 9A all the way through to 9B, and then from 9B to 8. Unfortunately, the alphabetical escalation increases with each successive SCL drop. You are both going up and down, so it is quite a slippery ladder that you are trying to climb in this hellish corporate world. But, well, that's capitalism for you.
Does it get to 11?
Oh, you never go up to 11. Arguably, the Shivers are SCL 11. But yeah, you start on 10, you go all the way up through 10.1, 10.2, 10.3, 10.4, and then you're 10A. And then you're 10A.1, 10A.2, and so on, until you get to 9. Because you're both going up and down. Mr. Slayer is SCL 1.
Who's SCL 2?
Yeah, it's a very, very good question. And one could argue that the number of the number of SLA operatives that are SCL 5 or... when I say lower, I mean higher, or higher, I mean lower. So SCL 5, 4, 3, or 2 probably exist in the double digits. There are thousands of SLA operatives at SCL 10, and around that number. To survive that long, and to be not only surviving, but also succeeding for that long, to get all the way down that low, you've probably had to make some pretty hard and horrible choices. Few people remain in the same squad for that long. Mainly because the rest of the squad tends to be dead, betrayed, locked up, enslaved. Something horrible will have happened to them. And so, as you get that SCL 0.2 bump, and your credits to go with it, which should barely afford the rent for the next week, you can all look at each other and wonder, which one of us is going to survive the longest? Which one of us is actually going to make it at this company?
Well, everything is progress, and this was just one job, one day. More importantly will be later. a celebrity. That will help. It's one thing to just do your job and not get any glory for it, but quite another to actually get the public on your side.
Oh, indeed. And do keep in mind that some BPNs will award you with much higher bumps than Point 2. Blue BPNs are entry level. When you really want a good bump, you go for a black BPN. That's a real way of testing a SLA Operatives mettle. There's a reason they're called suicide missions.
Thinking about that sort of thing, I do think to myself, maybe get a better gun first. Definitely get a better gun.
And so we move ahead. Can I ask the squad then, now that you have dealt with the Department of Sanitation, is the plan to get cleaned up at your respective residences, look nice for the TV? It seems, after dealing with Mongo Mingus, that quite honestly, dealing with him is a little like standing in a wind tunnel. You're just constantly being bombarded. And while, yes, you came out of it, Sasanacrop, saying, well, I think that went well, it's difficult to say how it went, because you don't really get a word in. He's not someone with whom you tend to negotiate. You went in with the idea of things like sponsorships, of fielding it to various channels, of playing one channel against the other. He came to you and said, I hooked you up with a channel. And by the end of the conversation it was, well, I'll see you later on that channel.
That's true, but then again, maybe I shouldn't be so cocksure. After all, when I'm by myself, I do fully acknowledge for a moment, looking in a mirror, that I think I might have actually come very close to actually dying today, which was a little irritating. I'll have to make sure that doesn't happen again. At least not in the foreseeable future. But yes, I am going to try and look nice. Using my skill in things like diplomacy and stuff, would I think... I'd like to go nicely dressed. After all, I am a Neophron and we like being nicely dressed. But at the same time, is it better to go in my body blocker armor and look more like a SLA operative? Is that a better look? I'm not sure.
Depends on the look you are wanting to project, Sasanacrop. Because while Gaul is definitely going to be best off looking like he's just crawled out of a sewer, if Sasanacrop, you want to look like a respectable squad leader, you could be the kind of squad leader who's rough and ready and a bit grizzly around the edges, or you could be a bit noble and articulate. Same goes for you, Opal. You can look as rough or as preened as you like. And then again, I rather dismissively said that Gaul would come out looking like he just emerged from the sewer. If you want to spend time, Gaul, in the shower, putting a brush through your mohawk, applying some new paint to your face, that kind of thing, and clearing away, flossing some of the meat from between your teeth, you can do that. Or you can look like the Stormer you are. It's entirely up to you.
I have always believed in this value called authenticity. I will go as I am. Bloody and dirty. That's authentic.
And how about Opal?
Hysterically, what Opal just thought was like, I can market that. That is something that we can leverage and we can use consistently during the course of our history together. I'm going to get cleaned up. I'm going to get cleaned up and I am going to look SLA Operative ready. At this point, I'm not only representing myself, I'm representing SLA Industries, I'm representing the Blistering Rain, I'm representing my people. I think there may be benefit to having the contrast of seeing what I was capable of on camera in the sewers and the muck covered in grime, and then the more pristine camera ready version. So we're not going for super elegant. We're not going for ostentatious or garish. This is going to be me in uniform, clean, put together, almost on like a more meticulous level than a let's show out level.
So you look like you're someone on parade almost. Dress uniform.
That feels good.
Okay, so that means you are basically climbing back into the uniform, with death suit of course, you're very rarely parted with it, that you were probably awarded at the time that you graduated from Many University. You look like the the poster child for SLA Industries right now, while Gaul looks like the poster child for the more exploitative TV channels. And what about you, Susanna Crop? Are you going to peacock, or are you going to look professional, or are you going to look gritty and grimy?
Perhaps a mixture of professional and peacock. After all, I am a Neophron, and our people are known for our style and fashion. Now, granted, I don't have the finest clothing. After all, that's very expensive. But I do have a wardrobe that some would respect. And again, we're also trying to be professional. I'm not selling myself as a talk show host. I'm selling myself as a mercenary, well, a SLA operative, rather. And yes, but, we can look a little nice. After all, the armor humans wear is very cloying at times. Useful, of course, but my people aren't really used to it. Well, culturally not used to it. We're having to adapt. We're all having to adapt to the world of progress.
Yeah, that's a sobering thought, isn't it? Well, you either adapt or it will change you. There's not really much of an option either way.
Yes, but again, I think that's something my people try and keep under wraps. Could go quite badly for us if SLA Industries thought we were trying to actually infringe on them.
So now that you are ready, now that you have made yourselves up, you've spent some time apart, you've had a bit of an opportunity to breathe. Maybe a little more time to have a smoke and a drink and just chill out a while. The evening is rolling on. You haven't stopped since picking up that BPN, not really. And now you're expected to go in front of the glaring studio lights, cameras pointed at every wrinkle on your face to expose you for whether you are good or bad for Mort City and the world of progress. Are you excited? Are you nervous?
I, for one, am very excited and actually relaxed. After all, it's unlikely Thomp is going to try and kill me in a TV studio.
Very well. So you're feeling excited then, Susanna Crop. Gaul, Opal, excitement, nerves, just cold-headed professionalism?
I'm very nervous. There's going to be so many cameras. I don't know which one to look at. I have to keep my left side exposed. I'm going to have to look back and forth, making sure that they don't catch my bad side. It's going to be very difficult.
I think as I shower, I slick back my hair, I adorn the uniform, and I look in the mirror. I make eye contact with myself. I look at myself with these pupilless eyes. I take a deep breath. I hold it for a count of 4. I release, and I feel terrified. I immediately swipe the counter and just retch into the nearest trash can because I am terrified. There's so much on the line. Mistakes are acceptable and those are things to be expected, but this is also our first time on camera. What if we misrepresent ourselves? What if our stories don't align and we miss something? What if we say something that we shouldn't? This is going to be forever. And I'm thinking about all of those talk shows that I've grown up on, where they just replay the mistakes of SLA operatives saying the wrong thing or doing the same thing or the wrong thing again and again and again and again. I retch again. And I come up, I spray my face with water, I dry my face, I look into the mirror, and the only thing I can think of is, I can't show the team this. And I do the best I can to compose myself through the rest of it. But how am I feeling? I am petrified.
And we flash cut outside Splatter 6 Studios. You're all in Uptown now. The light, the glamour, the glitz, the heaving population and traffic. But also, the lack of stench. Uptown just is a class above downtown, and you can see in bright neon pink baby talk, blink, 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 on the side of the building. This chat show that you're supposed to be on at 9 p.m. tonight. It's a popular show. You remember it occasionally being on at many universities. You never checked it out yourself. Always far too busy for that kind of frippery, but still, it is well known, and that does mean this is a good chance to get seen. Oh, there you are! And you can see Mongo is likewise dressed up. He has Archie with him, Archie, whose jaw has been fixed. There you are, you are looking like a picture, all three of you. I don't think they're going to need you in the makeup chair at all. Not at all. You three look like diamonds once you're on the TV. I guarantee you, well, you're going to be fending off other agents like with a stick, so don't you forget who got you where you are. Listen, I've already got something prepared inside the studio to make this really pop, okay? We got like a special event planned, okay? Just roll with it. The three of you, you're going to be able to carry this. You got the natural charisma already. All you need to do is speak your truth. Can you do that? Do you think you can do that for me? Do you think you can do that for yourselves and for Mr. Slayer, but most importantly for yourselves?
I think we have the situation in hand, Mr. Mingus. But
yes.
Thank you very much. Again, I feel happy to say we wouldn't be here without you.
Well, that is very kind of you to say. And listen, like I said, I don't want you to forget me. Just because I got you here doesn't mean you can, when you're all giddy up on top of the mountain, you can think, oh yeah, the Mungo Mingus all the way down at the bottom of the mountain. No. I want you to carry me up there with you, and believe me, I'll be shifting my own weight too. And when you stumble, I'll pick you up, I'll help you up. And so will Archie, won't you, Archie? Oh yeah, I'm their biggest fan. See, that kid loves you. That kid spent one mission with you, and he already loves you. He adores you. He sees the three of you, and he sees heroes. And you know what I see when I look at you? Credits. And when you put the two of them together, heroes, credits, that makes happy times for Mungo Mingus, happy times for SLA Operatives like the three of you. Let's get in there and show Mort City exactly why what's your squad name again?
Blistering Rain.
That's why, let's show them why the Blistering Rain squad is a force to be reckoned with.
You have listened to an episode of Red Moon Roleplaying, where we play the scenario The BPN Blues for SLA Industries 2nd edition, which is published by Nightfall Games. Gamemaster was Matthew Dawkins, and we were also joined by Bridgett Jeffries. The music was created by Sabled Sun, and was used with permission from their label, Cryochamber. Please check out cryochamber.bandcamp.com or their YouTube channel for some more dark ambient for your gaming table. We would like to give massive thanks to our champions of the Red Moon, Martin Heuschober, Simon Cooper, David, Julia, Camilla, Bob Lange, Cameron, Antxon, Graham Barey, and Doug Thomson for their generous support. We would of course also like to thank all of our other patrons. Without your support, the show would not be possible. If you want to support our work, please check us out on Patreon. You can get access to bonus campaigns for Cult of Divinity Lost, Call of Cthulhu, and Warhammer Fantasy Roleplay there. You can also get early and raw access to all of our recordings, and hear your name read on the show as a champion of the Red Moon, as well as even play some Cult with us. Most importantly, that support is what keeps the show going, so do check us out there. Thank you again for listening, and remember that the rain never stops falling in Mort City.